Hello everybody and welcome to another video. If you saw the title, you know that this is going to be a realistic week of reading in my life. I did one of these videos over a year ago now. I was in an old job and so I thought that it would be time to do another one. I quickly checked that video and my time at the end of a full week from a Monday to a Sunday was 8 hours and 40 minutes. And I'm just gonna see if I'm reading more than I was because I think that I am. If this is not your first video, maybe you know that I got the brick for my phone a few weeks ago, so I am really only on my phone for the little morning part before I start work, and then I pretty much keep it bricked for the rest of the day until I wake up the following day. So I'm reading a lot more. Obviously there's still like TV, YouTube, other things to do. I cook, I walk my dogs, I have a life, but I do spend a lot more time reading currently than I was back then, I think. And I'm curious if that's true, because that's just what my head is telling me. I also, for that video, was still filming on my phone, so I didn't have a timer going, but now I have a camera, so I have a timer. I already read for 10 minutes this morning when I was digesting my pre-workout banana at about 5:30 in the morning. We're 10 minutes into the day, it's almost 8 a.m. and I start work around 8:30, so I don't think I'll read more this morning because I would like to post a TikTok before my screen time goes away. So I think I'm gonna do that this morning instead of reading, but I'm currently reading Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I don't know much about this book, I just saw that it was at the library on the shelf. So I read actually like 20 pages last night before I went to bed. And then I read for 10 minutes this morning, like I said, so I'm just about to start chapter 3. I don't know anything about this, but I know that I hate her brother already. At the beginning of this book, what's even her name? Saris? Talking about her younger brother and how she has to take care of him because he's so young and he doesn't know anything and he can't take care of himself. So I'm picturing like a 12-year-old. In chapter 2, you learn he's 20 years old. This is a grown man. Let him take care of himself, and now he kind of just ran away with something very important that she has. So I already don't like him very much, but I'm not sure what else is going to happen. She's pretty badass already though. I will go back to reading this after work today. Like I said, it's Monday. We're going to do this Monday to Sunday. I'm going to do 7 days, not 5, because I am curious about the week. I was a bit nervous starting this book next. I want to, because I would like to read a fantasy and it's the library book. But I was like, oh, it's 500 pages. Is this going to be the only book? Oh, it's 600 pages. Is this going to be the only book that I read this week? Because that would be disappointing. But I just finished Great Big Beautiful Life, which was also at the library, and that is over 400 pages, and it took me 2 days. It was the weekend, so a bit different because I wasn't working, but I don't think this will be that much of a struggle, if I'm being honest. So, all that being said, I'm gonna get on with my morning, and I will check in later with how much I read today. I'm going to apologize in advance because the dishwasher is on and it might be a bit loud, but I hope not. I am 120-ish pages in, an hour and 27 minutes in, and I am really enjoying this book. I'm just gonna keep reading. Zach is gone for the evening. It is 7 o'clock, so I usually head to bed around 8:30. I'd like to be asleep around 9:30 today. We'll see how that goes. But that means probably another hour or two of reading. This book starts off very well. I am already understanding the hype. I still haven't read the synopsis, so I'm not sure what is known and what's not known, but there is fae in this world. I love going into a book blind, by the way. I love that I know nothing about this. There is fae in this world and it is a secret. So our main character, what's her name again? Saris, gets in trouble for something that she does at the beginning of the book. Then the queen is like, oh, are the fae coming to destroy me? Do you know? Have you met with the rebels? And she's like, the fae, they're not real. And then she meets them. That all kind of happens in the first few chapters. It's a great setup. I already love her as a character. First of all, I love that she's 24 and not like 16. So she's an adult and she is so badass and she's so unapologetic, but you know that there's a sensitive side to her. Always the best way to do a female character in a book like this. And we met this guy, Kingfisher. We don't know too much about him. This is one POV. I like it that way. We're never going to be in his head. unless he says something out loud, which I do appreciate because I know that it's going to be a little bit of romantasy, I'm pretty sure, especially if he's on the cover. So she doesn't know too much about him yet either, but we have just met him and they're kind of starting to work together for this task that has been set before her that she needs to learn a few things to get done. And we've met a lot of characters actually. There were a few characters at the beginning that I wasn't sure if they were going to be the main character kind of in disguise. I feel like the author sets up multiple characters very well, very quickly, and then you don't actually know if they're going to be key characters or if they're just side characters. How many times can I say characters? But I really enjoy that. I think that it adds to the reading experience because you meet someone and you don't know if they're going to last for 2 pages or 20 or the whole book, and I appreciate that. Though we do kind of have a solid 4, this core of 4 people that I'm sure are going to be in the book with us for most of it. Also has some powers, and that is why she has set this task. She knows these things about herself, but she has kept them a secret. Nobody else really knows, and now they are coming to light. It happens in chapter 1, so I'm not spoiling anything, but the metals in the sand kind of react to her. It's almost like she can control them a little bit. At first I was like, is this like a Mistborn situation? But I don't think it is. It's very actually specific to her. I'm going to read for the foreseeable future. I will probably update you again tomorrow on how long I've read for today. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't want to come to you when I'm like 2 minutes from falling asleep, looking all groggy, especially since I hope to read until I go to bed. My phone is still bricked. I do really want to scroll. I do feel like scrolling, so I need to keep it bricked so that I don't, because I would if I had the ability right now. This 500-page book is not going to be a problem. I was nervous, but if it keeps going the way it's going, I'm going to want to read this very quickly. I also forgot to add that there are a couple of things that are given to us in snippets, and I think it's supposed to be like subtle foreshadowing, and it's pretty obvious. So maybe that's my only negative at this point, is that there's a few things that are alluded to, but they're not alluded to. They're so obvious. And I'm not going to say what they are because if other people don't feel that way, I think it is going to be like a surprise at the end of the book, but I don't think it's a surprise at all. It's just something else that I'm surprised they're keeping a secret because I think it's very obvious about family.
There's always room for family.
We're family.
Now I know you guys are a family.
You want to make this family whole again?
You don't turn your back on family. It's family.
It is the next morning. It's 8 a.m. and I thought I would show you that I read 30 seconds short of 3 hours. So we're just going to say 3 hours on day 1. And I got to page 228. So I'm on chapter 16. This book is reading very quickly is what that means, because I usually think I read about a page a minute and I am ahead of that. I don't think I have too much to add. I will say it's very classic fae fantasy in some of the decisions that are made, and I kind of cringe a little bit. And this possessive sexual male thing is in this book, and it's not ever my favorite thing when it gets that way at the beginning. I like that they banter with each other and that they're kind of enemies, but I wish it didn't lean further than that for a while. I wish there was a little bit more tension between our main characters in the romance side of this story. But everything else, right when I think it's getting like traditional fantasy and I'm like, oh, this again, something is added to the plot that I'm not expecting, and I like that. There is some movement. I expected them to be in this castle for the majority of the book. There was all this talk of needing to complete this task within a week, and I was like, is this whole book going to take part over a week? And no, it's going longer than that. There is some movement, some things are changing, and I'm very happy about that. I think that's all I have to add. Yeah, I think so. There was like one shock. I'm thinking I don't want to ruin it and spoil it, so I wasn't going to say anything. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can say it without ruining it. There is a point where you're expecting one character to come into a room and a different character does, and my jaw actually dropped. Like, I actually was surprised by it, and I like that because I was not expecting to be surprised by that many things, and I am. And so that's good. It is the classic, our main character Saris is learning about their traditions and their history and all of these things at the same time as us, and I actually like learning about a magic system in a world that way. It feels more natural, I think, than the narrator adding in things all the time. We're just learning about it right alongside her, and I always appreciate that in a book as well. So, going to keep reading this today. Like I said, it's 8 a.m. I'm thinking I'm not going to read this morning, but I will let you know when I do. Maybe on my lunch break, I'm not sure. I wasn't going to have a lot of time to read today Classic, insert one of those memes about when an introvert gets canceled on, because I was supposed to leave the house tonight and cook dinner and walk the dogs, and I was like, I'm gonna have like an hour of reading time and I really want to keep reading this book. It is very good. And then our plans changed, and Zach's friend just texted him this morning that he's in town if they want to go for dinner. So I'm like, okay, now I don't have to cook a nice dinner, I'll just make something easy for myself, because I was gonna try a new meal tonight. I love to cook, but when a good book is in the cards, then I'm like, ooh, maybe I just want to make something fast. So now I'm just going to eat what I have in the fridge, not go out tonight. So I'd really just have to walk the dogs after work, and then I can read all night again. So that's very exciting. I am so far at an hour and 12 minutes straight. I just started reading at about 6 p.m. I had kind of a rough afternoon, I would say. My dogs are not reactive, but today for some reason they were, and so I cut the walk short, and then I just needed some time to chill out. Sorry for Kelso's breathing. I have popcorn, and of course they just sit and stare at me. I think I'm just gonna be coming in with little thoughts as I have them, instead of trying to remember everything or like put it in my notes app, or usually I just text myself my thoughts. But I have a few thoughts. I am on page 316, and I think I'm getting annoyed specifically by the asshole act. Like, I'm kind of over it. We know that he likes her. He's just being cruel all the time, and she's still pretending that she doesn't know why, and she thinks it's because she's human and he hates her, and it's getting kind of old. It is starting to feel a little bit like Beauty and the Beast, when he's just a jerk, and every time he tries to be nice and invites her down to dinner, he just is a jerk. And she goes off storming away because she's mad at him, and it has happened a few times, and I need something to change because it's getting quite annoying. I had another thought. I literally just had another thought. Oh, there is this thing with heartbeats, and I love it. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruin it, but I think it's a nice touch. So I'm going to keep reading. I don't think at this point I'm going to finish it tonight, just because it is 7. I think I can stay up till 10. So we'll see how I feel in 3 hours, because my phone is bricked. I had it unbricked for a while because I had to Instagram for work, and then I found myself scrolling. So I did just brick it again before I started reading. It's like 7 a.m. I woke up early. I have now read for like 23 minutes. There. 3 hours and 50 minutes yesterday. That is so long, and I could have kept going, but I knew that if I read like a couple more chapters, I would have to finish the book, and it would take me probably an hour plus, which is true because I read those couple of chapters this morning, and now I made myself a coffee, and I am not going to get ready for work until I'm done this book. That is the perks of working from home. It's so good. There is some badass shit happening. Yeah, it's still the classic, like, he was mean to her, it means he likes her, annoying stuff for a long time, and I know it was him putting up walls and denying the truth, but it's still, I think, went on too long. I am worried. I think it's going to be a cliffhanger just based on where I am. I'm on chapter 39, page 532. Why wouldn't they go? Oh, they did. Really good dynamics between characters in this book. I love all of them and how complex they all are with the intertwiningness. So good. What's going on? Oh. Holy shit. Holy shit. I was bamboozled. Oh.
Bamboozled.
No, I was. Okay, I'm done. I read for an hour and 20 minutes this morning. I gotta get ready for work. I'm supposed to start in 2 minutes. That's not happening. It is many hours later. The dogs are walked. The workday is done. My hair has gone up. I have a pimple patch. And I thought it's time to do a recap while I still have maybe a little bit of natural light left. I loved this book, as you could probably tell. I know that there were mixed reviews about this when it first came out and became popular, and on Goodreads I saw some mixed reviews. I think I'm like 95% positive on this book. I mentioned at the beginning, I think in my first update probably, that there was some not so subtle foreshadowing, and I was completely bamboozled. I was wrong. It was very good, and I was caught off guard a couple of times with a couple of things, and the ending is not what I would have expected it to be, and I was blindsided completely. It got me. I don't think that means I'm stupid. I think it just means I didn't see it coming. I don't know. I thought that this book was really fun. Other than asshole, but also when the asshole love interest finally gets together with the other main character, it does create like a deeper bond somehow, and it's like that thing where the douchebag gives it all up for one person. I do fall for that, I have to admit that. So for that outcome to happen, you kind of needed that setup, and so I'm not that mad about it anymore. I was for the first half, and then I was like, okay, now we're getting to it, now we're good. And Saris is kind of a no bullshit person, and I think that made up for it because she was like, no, we're talking about it. And I love that for her because it was not miscommunication on her part at all. I'm hopefully going to get my hands on the next one pretty quick here, but I also think the story could have been a standalone. I'm kind of sad that it wasn't. I think we need more standalone fantasy books, but it was still very good regardless of that. I gave this 5 stars. I've thought about it all day, and me just saying that I'll reread it one day tells me that it's higher than a 4-star. I was at first debating a 4.5, but it's 5 stars. Even though there's some things I don't like about it, it gave me that 5-star feeling of angst and like I can't put it down and I don't want to do anything else. So that's good. Our first read of the week, and it is Wednesday, so it is day 3, and I still haven't read more since then. So my hour and 21 minutes from this morning is all that I have read today, but I have my next book here. I'm going to start Silvercloak today. I don't know much about this book. Again, I think I only saw 1 or 2 people read it on YouTube when it came out, and those reviews I feel like were both really enjoyed it at the beginning and then it kind of lost them towards the end. So that's interesting. I'm curious how I will feel if it will be the same. I believe our main character, what is her name? Saffron. Cute. I like that name. I think Saffron is out for revenge after her parents' deaths, and I'm hoping she's another female badass character. But that's really all I know. It is another fantasy. I'm choosing this one because it's another library book and I should just bring them all back this week. So this is the next book that I'm starting today. I am going to make dinner now first before I start, but I'll probably read most of the evening. I think Zach and I might watch some TV together tonight, have a little bit of a date night in, but other than that, I will be reading. So I will let you know tomorrow what my time is. Yesterday after dinner, Zach and I watched 3 episodes of Company Retreat, and then I read for a little bit, and my total for yesterday is 2 hours and 12 minutes. I am now 50 pages, 4 chapters into Silvercloak. So in these first 50 pages, I am already enjoying the book. I think it's a wonderful setup. We have our main character Saffron, who in the prologue or chapter 1 witnessed her parents being murdered when she was 6 years old. And now I don't know if it's 20 years later or if she's 20. Because the way it said it was like she spent 20 years going through these struggles, and I don't know if that started when her parents were alive or afterwards, but we are now, I think 20 years later, but I could be mistaken, with Saffron, and she is going through this graduation in the school, and they have this trial that they all have to do, these 6 candidates as a group, and only 5 people can make it, which is very Atlas 6 actually. And so they've just completed those trials and some weird shit happened because at the beginning of the book it says there are these classes of magic. Common, there's 2. Uncommon, there's 2. Rare, there's 2. And then there's Extinct, which is Time Weaver. So as soon as I read this at the very beginning, my hunch is that she is a Time Weaver. And I don't know if she knows it or if she doesn't know it, but I know that her magic is a little bit different and she has to fake going through these enchantments. She can't be enchanted. So it's kind of interesting because I think maybe she got caught out. I'm not sure. It was a very exciting start to the book. Basically, she saw these blood moon people kill her parents. So her life goal is to get revenge against these blood moons, this group, which I think is the evil group in this world. Magic, I guess, is depleted inside of them. So passion fills their magic up. So her mom, when she got home, had like a glass of wine. I don't know. There's a few different options for pleasure. Chocolate, when she was eating chocolate, she felt her well growing. And then pain makes the magic stronger, from what I understand. So when her mom was trying to have stronger magic, she bit her tongue just to like give herself a little bit boost of pain to make it stronger. Very interesting concept. I think it's not something that I've read before, so that's interesting. And it is magic with a wand, and they can only do 1 spell at a time. One of my favorite things is the use of language. So the curse prefixes. There's like a good one and a bad one and a generic one. So you know if you're using this for good or for evil, kind of a thing. Very interesting concept. I know I'm only 50 pages in, season, but I've learned a lot already, which I actually really appreciate. It has been the right amount, so I'm not waiting for things to be told to me, but I'm also not being overwhelmed with information. Silvercloak, the name is because she's hoping to become a Silvercloak. That is what they are in the school for. It's like the top notch group of magic, and only 6 candidates are there this year to graduate and do these trials. And I believe they're doing it to become detectives. I think the Silvercloaks might be detectives of some kind. It also has a very detailed map. Obviously, it's a library book, so I can't take the dust jacket off, but it's the most detailed map I think I've ever seen. It is the busiest day of my week, always Thursday. I have volleyball. We're going to the pub after because it's actually the last week of the season. Between work, dogs, dinner, volleyball, pub, I should probably tidy my house a little bit. I am not sure at all how much reading I'm getting it done today, but I'm excited to keep reading this book, so that's good. I am really enjoying it. Okay, I just read the next chapter, so now I'm on page 60. Very fun chapter. And again, I'm learning so much about the magical system and the history, and it's really fun. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading for like 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna cook dinner and go. So this might be the only reading I get done today this hour, but we'll see. It's Friday afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. I read for a total of 53 minutes yesterday, which is not a surprise. I knew it was my busiest day. I definitely did not read after coming in from volleyball. Zach and I actually went to the pub with our friends, and then we watched one more episode of Company Retreat. I have Kelso here. You want to be in it? You want to be in it? I don't think I have anything to add, except to say I love our main character, Saffron, for how she's written. In the fact that she's very complex. I feel like people put character traits that are likely found in a person and they make a character out of those traits. And I feel like some of her character traits contradict each other, but in a totally normal human way. So I actually really like that. Like, she seems to me like someone who is a go-getter and does things with her gut, but then depending on the situation, she really thinks with her head. And I can't decide if she's type A or type B because I think it depends what she's doing that changes what she is. And I like that. She is not pigeonholed into what a main character usually is written as. I made sure that I was not spoiling anything, as I always do, because I don't read the synopsis if I can help it. It is in the synopsis that she is infiltrating these blood moons. So we just got to the point where she has asked to become a blood moon, and because enchantments don't work on her, she can get away with like lying to them because they can't enchant her into telling the truth. So that's where I'm at now. Super interesting. Like I said, it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to quickly do a thumbnail. I'm going to have a coffee, and then I'm just going to read, I think, until Zach comes back. And then after dinner, we'll probably watch more Company Retreat. It's technically date night, but both of us are pretty wiped. We feel really tired. So we'll probably just finish Company Retreat or start Taskmaster, the new season, or something like that. So that's me saying I'm not sure how long I'm going to be reading for today. I usually read about 3 books a week, and we are on par for that, except for tomorrow all day is volleyball tournament starting at 8:30 in the morning. Hopefully I still get 3 books done this week. I'm not sure. I made the decision at the beginning, and I'm following through, not to force myself to read when I don't feel like it, because that would not be a realistic week of reading. That would be forcing myself to read to get 3 books done for this, and that's not what I'm doing. So if I finish in the middle of the book, that's kind of unfortunate, but that's kind of just going to be the way that it goes. I'll give you an update when I have one. I think that this book is not as enticing as Quicksilver was. I'm not itching to pick it up. It's so funny they're both silver. I don't know how I didn't realize that. It's good. I'm not saying it's not good, but that's kind of what happens after a 5-star, right? The next one just is not going to be a 5-star unless it's giving me that feeling, and it's not giving me that feeling. I haven't talked to you in 2 days because Friday I didn't read at all. Zach and I pretty much just hung out all evening. And then yesterday we had our volleyball tournament from like, I think we were at the gym from like 8 to 2. So pretty long day. I read a little bit beforehand, a tiny bit during, and then in the evening last night. So my total, just a second, I wrote it down. It's a little shoddy because there's also some audiobook in there. When I was falling asleep in bed, I decided to turn on the audiobook until I fell asleep, and I listened to 2 chapters. So I did some math this morning. I listened to them at 1.5 speed, In total, I'm saying yesterday was 2 hours and 5 minutes. Most Saturdays are a lot higher than that, but obviously I was busy and that's just the reality of the week. Almost halfway maybe. Oh no, I listened to 2 chapters. 1 second. Page 210, chapter 23. And I think I'm going to continue to listen to the audiobook this morning. The book is not amazing. When I was reading it yesterday in the gym, my friends were asking me and I said, the magic system is great. It's super unique. It's not something I've ever seen before and I love that. But the writing itself and the plot are not my favorite. I'm getting a little bit bored and she keeps repeating herself and her motives and like, we understand what you're doing, girl. You're getting revenge. We get it. She keeps reiterating this prophecy that she had seen at the beginning of the book. And again, it's like, yeah, we know. Every time she sees him, she's like, can't believe the prophecy said this. I have some theories that I'm 99% sure are correct and that would take away the fun of the twist. I still like the contradictions between characters and that they are not one-dimensional, but Saffron now has been making some stupid decisions in the name of good things. Like her reasoning behind it is good and she's thinking things through before she does them, but I still don't like the decisions that she comes to after thinking them through. I'm a little bit annoyed with that. So those are the things I'm kind of struggling with. But the city descriptions are really fun. It feels like it should be a cozy fantasy, but then it's much higher stakes than that, or it's supposed to be much higher stakes than that. There's a lot of death in this book, and I was not expecting that, and some gory-ish explanations of things, which I also was not expecting. I also think that this prophecy and this idea of predetermination is interesting. She's always struggling. She's like, if the same outcome is going to happen, doesn't matter what I do today. And she thinks it does, but I'm thinking she probably doesn't have to go through all the things she's going through. I'm going to now listen to the audiobook while I clean the kitchen. And I'm going to play some Sims today, I think. I just kind of want to chill. I'm very tired after yesterday. I will give you an update when I have one. I will finish this book today either way. I'm hoping so because I think if I take even longer to read it, I'm going to like it less. I think I kind of just have to get it done. We'll see where my day takes me. I listened to the audiobook for 6 hours and 6 minutes of the audiobook, and I actually upped it to 2 times speed, but I just ran out of audiobook minutes. So that was 3 hours and 3 minutes because he cut it in half, and it got me to chapter 42. So I listened to the audiobook for 160 pages, and I have nothing to add, which is not great, I think. Nothing huge is happening. I mean, it is. Big things are happening. People are still dying, but now I have to read the last, how many pages? I just saw something in the epilogue. Less than 100 pages, like 90 pages, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm just going to do it now. It is 1 p.m. on Sunday. I'm going to finish this book, and then I think I might just start another one. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll have some chocolate or something just to make me feel better about it. I have my total for yesterday. So I had already said 3 hours and 3 minutes of audiobook listening. And then another, I already added it together. Another about an hour and a half. So I'm sitting at 4.5 hours for yesterday, for Sunday. I would say that I probably usually read more in a standard weekend than 6.5 hours-ish. But let me get my total. I didn't actually do the math because it's on my phone and I wanted to use my phone calculator. My total first, should I review the book first? Rewind. I gave this book, Silver Cloak, 2 stars. I was debating a 2 or a 2.5, and I was gonna put it to 2.5, and I was like, I don't want to read the next one. I don't know if I regret reading it, but I definitely wouldn't have been sad if I DNF'd with anything that I missed. I don't believe in the romance. I don't feel the tension. I don't really care about it. There were some spelling errors and inconsistencies. I took a note of a couple of inconsistencies. At one point, Levon took off his cloak, and then 3 pages later, she was rolling up the sleeve of his cloak. At one point, it said, for the first time in years, she had no plan and didn't know what she was gonna do. I was like, for the first time in years? You said that like 3 chapters ago. Didn't like it. That really bothered me. My opinion did start to improve a little bit within the last 20 pages, simply because we were given way more of Levon's character than we ever had, because she finally felt closer to him. and their relationship bloomed a little bit, and I like him, and it made me realize I don't think I like Saffron, our main character, all that much. I still appreciate the complexity of the characters, and I still like the magic system, and that's where the 2 comes from, because I think it would have been a 1 if I didn't care about those things, and that makes me so sad because I had high hopes going into this book, and it did not meet those hopes. So this was 2 stars. And then I read the first chapter of Death in the Spires, which is on my April TBR, before I went to bed. And I read a little bit more this morning, and I'm only on chapter 5, and I think I'm going to love this book. So I really apologize that it's not going to be in this vlog, because I think it's going to be way better than Silvercloak. It starts with someone getting a note to his work, to his boss, that he murdered his friend 10 years ago in university, this unsolved murder. And he's like, what the hell? And he loses his job over it. And then he reconnects with his 6 other friends. I was going to say there were 7 of them, so his 5 other friends, because one of them's dead. And he's like, did you guys get this note? And so far it looks like they all got a note. So they're gonna get back together and see what happened. And I usually hate past and present timeline, but this one's doing it so well, and I immersed myself in it immediately. I did not want to start work this morning because I read while I ate breakfast instead of being on my phone or watching YouTube, which is a sign of a good book. I'm looking forward to this book. I'm so sorry that it's not gonna be vlogged, because I will probably hopefully be done this before I start my next vlog on Friday. But I mean, I have a Goodreads with my rating, so hopefully it's there. But I think I'm gonna love this book. My total reading for the week was 16.5 hours, which I was gonna say it might be a little bit higher than normal, but I think because I had a 5-star book and a 2-star book, it's actually probably merged into being pretty realistic week for me. When I love a book and I can't put it down, I do read it when I'm eating every meal and anytime I get a spare minute. And when I don't love a book, it takes me way longer to read, and I skip a day because it's not worth it for me to even read it on my breaks. So I think we have an accurate week, and I think it's about double the time it was last time I filmed this video type over a year ago now, maybe just about a year ago. That was my realistic week of reading. Thank you so much for coming. See you next time. Bye.